writing about two seniors that have been with you a long time, Xavier Arline and Tai Lavatai. I mean, can you remember them both coming in? Different types of guys, one tall, one short,
yeah.
one quick, one.
Yeah, and it goes by fast. Just remember again, Tai came in from Naps, X came in direct, and it was COVID, so it wasn't a great time. But still good memories. It goes by fast. Now they're seniors. And their time is almost done. It's been a pleasure coaching these guys. Obviously, things hasn't gone the way that we all would have liked over the past few years. But again, being able to come to the school and serve your country afterwards, always the best thing.
So can you kind of talk about their trajectory? I mean, obviously they both got a bad late start because of the fact that during COVID year, the plebes weren't allowed to practice until much later than normal, so they were already behind. But then Xavier ended up getting into the mix, started at Tulane, wound up starting the Army-Navy game. Tai ended up, not playing at all. I guess he was scout team that year, but then the following year, all of a sudden Tai becomes the starter. It's kind of been a weird back and forth with these two.
It's been kind of up and down, but changes here and there. But again, they both persevered through a lot. Tai not playing at all his freshman year. X actually starting as a freshman, which is always rarity around here. But that's always a huge plus. But then the very next year, Tai's the starter. Then he gets hurt and X is back in. So again, it's been up and down, but they both have shined at times. Again, not as consistent as we would like. But again, it's all about again coming to school here and being the best at what you do. Dealing with all the ups and downs with the academy itself, but they've handled it well with class. Just two great kids, and it's been a pleasure coaching them.
And do they get along? Because obviously they're in the same class. They've been competing for 4 years. I see them over here talking to one another. Do they seem to be good friends?
It's always, the weird thing here is the QB room. They always end up being real close, even though they're competing. They support each other. They're real close, and they help each other out. So it's a great room, great relationships, great memories. But yeah, they're the best of friends, and they support each other. So it's a good deal. It's a good part. It's a good thing to be a part of.
So they're completely different quarterbacks. I mean, they're just very different styles, different body makeup. I mean, kind of, how would you describe Tai?
He's a bowling ball at times, but sometimes he's not a bowling ball. We want him to be a bowling ball. He tries to be a little bit too finesse when it needs to be a physical runner. But overall, Tai's a good football player. Good football player. Throws the football real well. Understand things, concepts. He's very solid mechanically, option-wise. X again. Compare him to Malcolm. Again, he has gotten better throwing the football over his career. He's throwing the football so much better now. He's a stronger arm. And he's your slasher, more dynamic. Again, they're two good players in their own right. And again. But next Saturday, all these come together, for their one final game. They need to play their best.
So what's it like for you? I mean, you get to know these guys really, really well over the course of 4 years. I mean, I know your daughter is friends with these guys because they're your kids. They're your guys that you've coached for 4 years.
Well, in the recruiting process, our biggest thing is family here. And we promise their parents they're going to take care of your sons. That is more than football here. So I make sure in our meetings I'm always sharing things about my personal experiences, where I grew up, when I was at a fence or at a fork in the road or on the fence about something, and I happened to, by the grace of God, to fall the right way. So they know me beyond coaching. Again, I've shared some really deep things with these guys. I've cried with these guys. So it's more than football. And I think they appreciate that. The parents appreciate it. That we're taking care of their young men, their sons. And it's not just X's and O's life. So that's what it's all about, my man.
And do you get to know their parents as well? I mean, Gina's been so active and always very involved, and John and his wife.
Yes, obviously. Yes. Again, it's a huge family, and they've entrusted their sons to us, and it's our job to take care of them. So again, there's no better feeling to seeing mom and dad and them saying thank you for believing in my son and taking care of my son. That's a great feeling.
You think Tai and Xavier will do well in their careers and moving forward?
Absolutely. The thing about X is a great speaker, the way he carries himself, and I can see him being a politician or something like that. But he's going to be a great leader, and Tai's going to live to be 100 years old. Tai has nothing phases him. He doesn't have a kid. I shouldn't say kid. Just nothing phases him. The kid's always even keel. He's always relaxed. You know, he always has ice water in his veins. You know, so but yeah, I'm looking forward to see these guys move on.
I'm just kind of writing about you two senior quarterbacks. It's been 4 years together. Is it hard to believe that you've got one game left in your football career?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of surreal. You play since you're 5 or 6 years old, grow up loving the game. You really don't think it's ever going to end. Every time you come into a new school, high school, college, and you kind of hear the seniors talk about their experience and how you should not take it for granted. And then now coming down to our last game, it's kind of crazy to think that 15 years ago, 16 years ago was the first time I started playing, and now it's coming to an end. But it's definitely something you don't want to take for granted. But it's definitely been a fun ride, fun experience to have.
So you came in here during COVID. You guys had to start late. You weren't able to be out on the practice field with your teammates until later than normal. Then you ended up on scout team. I know you went to prep school. I mean, can you talk about the grind it takes just to get to the point where you're even in the mix to compete for the job? Yeah,
I mean, I think going to prep school definitely helped me just with under center stuff in general, because it kind of helped me learn how to run the option. And then obviously COVID year was definitely an experience to have, first of its kind, so it was definitely a learning curve. But scout team, all of our guys say you embrace your role, try to figure out how to help the team in any way you can, and I think that was something a lot of us did during that year, and we tried to embrace it and try to help the defense out as much as we could, give them the best looks. I enjoyed coming out here and practicing, because it was kind of like the part of the day where you kind of got to get out of your room and do something other than sit around doing homework and whatever. So for me, it's definitely been a different kind of road throughout the seasons and stuff. But all of us here, we persevere, go through things that not a lot of people go through, and I think that kind of makes us to who we are and how our team is kind of built.
So obviously you went from being on the scout team, and Xavier played as a freshman, and then the next year you end up earning the starting job as a sophomore. I mean, were you proud that you made a big leap to the point where you're able to become the starter?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something you work for when you're from high school up until now. You kind of hope to be the starter, and watching the X play freshman year, I was you think, dang, that'd be pretty cool to be out there playing in front. Well, they didn't get to really play in front of people, but just to be able to be out there, be on TV. We were watching them and stuff. But I think going into sophomore year, it was kind of got to the season, and it was really either or. We knew that both of us could play, both of us could win games with us at quarterback. So it was kind of just going into it. We knew we were going to need a 2 quarterback room group, and I think we had a pretty good room for the last couple of years. And that was something we kind of worked off each other, competed against each other, and I think it brought out the best of us. And it was really coming down to the first game. It was really just about both of us being able to play and be ready for that.
So as far as memories, how does the Army-Navy game your sophomore year, leading Navy to victory at the Meadowlands, is that kind of the greatest memory that you have? Yeah,
I would say that's probably the best. That's something that you dream about when you're little, just playing in front of that many people, winning a game in front of that many people, and being able to, especially a game that you come to learn is so important to this school and yourself from the moment you get here. So I think going about that game and understanding that that's the game of all games here at the academy was definitely an experience. It's definitely something I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
And having James Harris push into that play where he pushed in the end zone, is that kind of like one that sticks out?
Yeah, I think that was one that just definitely stuck out, because it hurt a lot, and it also was the first touchdown in that game. So that was something that was definitely memorable.
What about the injuries? Obviously, it's been difficult for you. You're here. The starting quarterback, things are going okay, and then injuries, and it's happened twice now to you. Is that hard to believe?
Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunately how my football, high school, college, it was kind of injury after injury, kind of pushing back, trying to get back as fast as I could. But I think things are meant to be how they play out, and so I think going through that stuff just built my character, built me as a person for stuff outside of football, and understanding how to get through stuff that may not always go in your favor. So I try to take each injury with a grain of salt and just understand how to get through those moments and what it could do to help me outside of football and within football.
How happy are you to be able to dress for your final game? I mean, the period after you got injured that would be it, and there'd be no more games. But now you're at least able to, you're going to be in uniform for Army Navy regardless of what happens.
Yeah, I think that's it's a great experience. I think that's something that last year on the sideline, even though I was wearing a jersey, it's not the same as just being able to dress out and be out there with the guys. So at least being able to dress out this game is definitely something that is going to be really cool, especially it being in a different stadium this year than it was the last year. So I'm excited and just grateful for the opportunity too.
So what are you going to go on and do in the Navy?
Service warfare.
You know where you'd like to go? Have you found out where you're going?
If I could, I would, want to go back to Mayport, go back to Jacksonville area. That'd be pretty cool. But if not, probably end up Norfolk or San Diego, somewhere like that.
So Coach Jasper just told us that you're probably going to live to be 100 years old because you're so even-keeled and nothing phases you. How would you describe yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty laid back, relaxed. I like to, just hang out, have a good time. Like to golf a lot and stuff. So I mean, for me, I like to live stress-free, just because I feel like having stress in your life kind of just brings you down, brings your happiness down, and I never really want to be like a sad dude. I like to enjoy the moment, enjoy like what I'm doing. So that's kind of how I go about my life. And sometimes it's good. Sometimes you kind of got to tighten up the reins and understand that stuff has to be done, and that's something that Coach Jasper has tried to teach me over the years. So
Xavier, I'm going to talk to you about some of the same things I talked to Tai about. 4 years. Hard to believe it's almost over.
Yeah, I mean, everyone tells you since you're young, since you're a plebe, be ready, it comes fast, enjoy every moment, and you kind of just shuck them away and keep doing what you're doing because you never really think it's going to get to this point. But it does, and it's here. 3 more full padded practices after today, so I'm just trying to soak them in and enjoy every moment.
Have you had time, or will you, I guess maybe you, after Army Navy, you reflect on the whole experience? I mean, it's been quite a long, been a up and down 4 years.
Yeah, I've reflected as I've gone. It's helped me grow into the person I am now, and the ability to finish strong. I mean, I don't think it's fully hit me yet. The fact that I'll never be able to play again. Right now, my main focus is just preparing every day, and putting myself in the best position to help my team be in the best position to win a game. I think eventually it will hit, but it's funny because every year for Thanksgiving we go around the table and say what we're thankful for, and I said I was thankful for all the adversity that I faced. It's truly made me into the man I am right now, and I wouldn't have gotten it anywhere else.
So let's talk about the journey. You come in under COVID, you're not able to come out here and practice with the guys, you joined the team late, yet you were able to fight your way up the depth chart, and all of a sudden you're starting at Tulane. How when you look back upon it, is that almost like a surreal that you were starting against Tulane like literally about a month after you actually started practicing?
Yeah, I mean, I probably won't realize it until I'm older and really understand, but to me, I thought I was going to be, if we were going to play Notre Dame in Ireland that year, in my head, I was going to be the starter. This is always how I felt. I didn't expect it any other way. It is crazy looking back on it. I matured a little bit, be able to understand, have some perspective, and not be able to do any fall ball, and coming in and 3 weeks after I'm out of plebe summer, I was starting the game, which was pretty cool and unique. But at the end of the day, that's where I expected to be. So.
Can you, would that always be an incredible memory to be starting the Army-Navy game at, Mikey Stadium in West Point? Game will never be played there again. I mean, you'll be a trivia question. Who is the starting quarterback for Navy in the one game that was ever played at Mikey Stadium?
Yeah, it's truly an honor. I mean, you look back and some stuff gets lost in the memories. But I've been a part of some really cool things that I'm super grateful for, and that's definitely one of them.
What's your lasting memory of that game?
Losing.
The goal line stand?
Yeah, just those 4 plays. Those 4 plays right down there on the 1 yard line. That'll haunt a bunch of us forever.
So obviously, I mean, Tai ended up getting the starting job. He's been the starter for the bulk of the last 3 years, but you've started more Army-Navy games. You started as a freshman. You started again last season. You could be starting again this season. What can you talk about that? I mean, through all of it, somehow, some way, Xavier Arline ends up as a starting quarterback against Army.
Yeah, they say it's not about how you start, but how you finish. And obviously, you want to be playing on the right terms. You never wish injury upon anybody, ever. But then again, I stuck with myself. I believed in myself. Not too long ago, I was a slot back. Now I have the opportunity, to lead my team into Army for one last time. It's been a crazy journey, 4 years. But then again, like I said, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And I've had the ability to persevere through everything that's come my way and stay strong.
Well, I imagine based on your experience, I mean, there's nothing harder than being a plebe playing at Mikey Stadium. I imagine with all your experience that Army don't scare you anymore, the Army-Navy game.
Yeah, it never did, honestly. It's a cool moment, but it's a football game. I've never played in them as many people as the Army-Navy game. I won't lie to you there, but I played on the big stage in big moments and, a numerous amount of sports. So I've kind of always been prepared for the moment. The pressure and stuff, it has never really gotten to me. but I do understand the implications of this game. It is, you do feel different, I'm not going to lie. You know, you understand what's going on around you and what you're playing for, so it definitely has a different feeling.
So as you kind of reflect upon it, I mean, and I know you're going to not really do that until the end of the season, but I know it probably wasn't what you probably envisioned yourself starting 4 years, all the games, and by you'd be like the Keenan Reynolds guy at the end, you know, record-breaking.
Yeah, I mean, things always don't go as you plan them. I said it to someone, if my dreams came true, in terms of what I envisioned myself as a senior in high school coming here, I would have, you know, been a Heisman Trophy winner. I would have, you know, won the tour time lacrosse and gone on to make $1 million the day I graduated school. You know what I mean? But that's just not how it goes. Not always. You got to play the cards you're dealt as if those are the cards you wanted. Believe in the process, because there's so many lessons that I've learned along the way that are going to set me up for life that if everything went so smoothly here, I would have never gotten. So yeah, of course I want all the accolades and, you know, all the comparisons coming in, you know, but I'm glad, I'm fortunate, and I'm grateful for how things went down, because it's taught me a lot.
So for all your teammates here, this is the last game, but you have other college games to play. Is it kind of consolation? I mean, this isn't the end of your college athletic career. It's the end of your college football career, but then you're going to go on and have a senior year of lacrosse. You get to play Army again.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I sacrificed a lot of things, a lot of opportunities at different schools to come here and play football. You know, football holds a special place in my heart. It always has. So the fact that this sport is ending, you know, even just talking about it right now, I could feel my throat getting choked up, you know, because it's just such a special game that I'm going to miss dearly. So even though, you know, I do have another season coming up, I've been so focused, you know, since whenever our last game was over there in May something, I've been all in on football and gave it everything I got, and I'm truly going to miss this game.
So you're going to be in the Marine Corps. You know, what would you like to do in the Marine Corps? Have you thought of anything in particular that you'd like to do in your service?
Not anything in particular. I've thought of maybe going the JAG route and being a lawyer, or, you know, logistics or supply. At the end of the day, I chose the Marine Corps to be able to lead people and have an influence on people's lives, you know, get the full experience while I'm in the service, and then see where it takes me from there.
So Coach Jasper was just telling us about how you're so articulate. He said he could see you being a politician one day. Well, do you have any idea what you might want to do with once you leave the Navy?
I don't know. I definitely want to use my gifts. I say that my greatest gift is off the field, and it probably is my public speaking and be able to articulate my words and put sentences together well and speak well. So I don't know what that'll entail, but I'm sure that'll be used somewhere.
Lawyer,
maybe a broadcaster or something.
Broadcaster,
you know?
lawyer, right?
You know,
any of that
would
would
be
work.
good.